Hello, welcome again to our channel. In this lesson, you will learn all about possessive adjectives in Kinyarwanda, so stay tuned. Here is a table which shows the correspondence between possessive adjectives in Kinyarwanda and the possessive adjectives list of English language. So, in the first place, we've got anje, which means my. And then we have awe, which means your. We also have e, which means his or her. And then we've got achu, which means our. We also have anyu, which means your. And then we've got abo, which means their. However, this is not all that there is for you to be able to use the Kinyarwanda possessive adjectives. But anyway, you will need to understand the relationship between the Kinyarwanda possessive adjectives and a Kinyarwanda noun. Let's consider this noun, umuhungu. That means a boy in English. Alright, so how do you think we can say my boy in Kinyarwanda? Try to put your answer in the comment section. It is likely that you wrote anje umuhungu. However, I would like to let you know that whenever a Kinyarwanda noun is collocated with a possessive adjective, a Kinyarwanda possessive adjective, you have to reverse the order. In this case, we've got my, which means anje, and boy, which is the noun, and that noun means umuhungu. So for us to have a correct sentence or structure, we have to reverse the order so that we start with a noun, in this case umuhungu, that means a boy, and anje, which is the possessive adjective corresponding to my in English. Okay, but by the rule of collocation in Kinyarwanda, when you have a noun which represents a human being, or a noun that starts with umu, because all the Kinyarwanda noun which starts with umu represent human being, you have to modify your possessive adjective with w, this w here. Okay, this is extremely important. Now you've got a correct structure, which means my boy, and we read as umuhungu wanje or umuhungu wanje. Okay, so just to recap, you have to reverse the order. You start with a noun and then you end with a possessive adjective, and at last you modify an adjective depending on the noun that you have. So for us to keep things very simple, you will not learn all the passive modifications. For example, for objects like a bag or a tree or a house, these are objects. They have different ways of modifying an adjective, and we will learn that after having a full understanding of Kinyarwanda objects, how to differentiate them with human beings, because that's a really big deal in Bantu language as well as in Kinyarwanda. So let's look at multiple examples of how to use a Kinyarwanda possessive adjective collocated with a noun. Umwana. As you can see, this noun, umwana, means a child, and this starts with umuana, but because that u precedes an a, remember from our previous videos, we converted that to w and it gives the sound umna or umwa. However, the original letter there is u, even though it became w. So umwana wawe. As you can see, awe, that is the possessive adjective which has the same meaning as your, but it was modified with w because that is how a noun which represent human being modify an adjective. And finally we've got umwana wawe, which means your child. We also have umukobwa we, which means her daughter. As you can see, his or her is the same like a in Kinyarwanda. That's possessive adjective a in Kinyarwanda, and we modify that with w, and that resulted in we. So the entire sentence became umukobwa we. We also have umwarimu wacu. That means our teacher. So as you can see, R means achu. And by modifying achu with W, we've got wachu. And the entire sentence is umwarimu wachu, which means our teacher. Umwarimu wachu. And we also have umushitsi wanyu. That means your visitor. As you can see, your on the second person of plural, that is anyu. So we modified that with w, and we obtain wanyu. So your visitor means umushitsi wanyu. And then we've got umusirikare wabo. That means their soldier. As you can see, there means abo in Kinyarwanda. By modifying that with a human class modifier w, we obtained wabo. So umusirikare wabo, that means their soldier. Alright, so let's put this sentence in plural and see how the resultant plural is going to modify the possessive adjective. Remember that we do not want to change the adjective itself in plural, but only the noun will have to change in plural. So I hope you remember how to obtain the plural of a word umugore. That becomes abagore because the quantifier umu becomes aba in plural. Abagore, that means wives. Umugore means a wife. So this one will modify this adjective, possessive adjective awe, by ba, and that will be abagore bawe, which means your wives. As you can see, the modifier was b. This b here on abagore, it is the same like this one here on bawe. So there are so many situations where to obtain a modifier, you simply take the first letter of the identifier, but not all the cases. Okay? So in the second example, umushitsi wabo, that means their visitor. The plural of umushitsi, it is abashitsi. Again, because of umu, when umu represents human being noun, the plural becomes aba. Okay, the quantifier umu becomes aba in plural. So we will modify abo with b, and that will be babo, which entirely means their visitors. Abashitsi babo. So let's have a noun which does not represent a human class. So umuhanda. It starts with umu, but it's not a human being. Umuhanda means a road. So what do you think is the plural of umuhanda? Remember from our plural video, I told you that when a Kinyarwanda word starts with a quantifier umu, while that noun does not represent a human, the plural is imi. So do you think the modifier will be ba? No, the modifier of imi, it is ya. So the entire sentence becomes imihanda yabo, which means their roads. There are so many other modifiers used when dealing with a noun which does not represent a human being class, so for simplicity's sake, we will consider that some other time. Thank you so much for watching this lesson. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and share them with your friends. You can follow us on Instagram by clicking the link in the description below and check various posts that we've got there for you, or you can follow us on Facebook by clicking the link in the same description box and get to leverage those valuable contents that we've got there as well. That's all for today. See you next time. Nahuta.